What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to yet another edition of what I hope is your favorite baseball show here on YouTube, 27 Outs Live. And as always, I am Ivan alongside my brother here, Stefan. I want to start off tonight's show by saying sorry, man, because, we should have been back just a little sooner. I'd say a couple days ago is when we really should have been back, knowing that we haven't hit the air in like what, a full week, I would say. I think it's been about 7 days to be exact.
Mhm.
But there's a reason why. I needed, a couple days for myself because I, came up with a cough on Saturday over the weekend. And 2 days just wasn't enough for me, right? So I needed a little more than that. And realistically speaking, I told you this earlier today, Stefan. I'm not 100% yet. If I had to tell you guys where I'm at right now, I would say I'm probably somewhere like 75, 80%. And that's more than enough for me to do a show. Not just that, but also knowing that I'm not coughing every few minutes, right? The cough is definitely still there. I'm not gonna sit here and act like you guys aren't going to hear it at all tonight. But it for sure is not going to be as often as you would have heard it had we gotten on the mics and gave you guys yet another live show. But I'm good, thankfully. And between now and the next live show that we give you guys at some point later this week, I will definitely be 100%. So I wanted to start off by saying that. The other thing I also want to say as well before we get into what tonight's show is going to be about, because we have plenty of time to get into that and more. Shout out to every single person on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram. I mean, you guys know where to find us these days. We're on everything almost, right? But on the YouTube, especially how you guys are watching us right now, and shout out to whoever's watching right now. In the past 7 days, man, you guys did your thing when it comes to viewership. I was looking at the numbers, and last week alone, you guys helped us reach like over 5K views, nearly 6K. We didn't get to the 6K to be exact, but we had two shorts that reached over 1,000 views. We had a third one that's like creeping up, I think, on 1,000. And then we had several others that had hundreds of views, right? And you add all of that up together, which is how we ended up with nearly 6,000 views over the course of 7 days. So that's another thing I wanted to actually thank you guys for as well. And one final thing, and it's kind of crazy, man, because I wasn't expecting to have to, get into something like this tonight. Stefan, you probably know where I'm going, before we get into today's, topics, and especially the title with injuries, contract extensions, and of course, giving you guys a look around the league. Some bad news, man, especially for Dominicans. Late last night, or I should say really early this morning, because once the clock strikes 12, technically it's the following day. So earlier today, I didn't know until I had gotten up. So I got up this morning and there was news about this roof that had collapsed. Apparently, a nightclub in the capital of DR, which is Santo Domingo, the roof had collapsed on like several hundred. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe it was even 1,000 people who were in that place. There was this big time merengue artist, for those of you who listen to that genre, Ruby Perez. He was actually performing there, and there was some big names in the building, right? And unfortunately, and I say this, on behalf of myself as well as you, Steph, and I know you're gonna share a few words as well. But I definitely want to make sure that you guys know that we share, well, we're sending, I should say, rather, our thoughts, prayers, condolences, everything along those lines. Not only to, the people who are from the baseball world specifically, but just to the people who had to go through that itself, I should say, right? We ended up finding out that former baseball player Octavio Dotel passed away. There was another major leaguer who passed away. I believe his name is Tony Blanco. I want to make sure, yeah, Tony Blanco. They said he had played for the Reds and I think the Washington Nationals during his time at the big league level. And the crazy part too, and the reason why I'm actually mentioning these people, and I'm being very specific, is because it relates to what we do here, right? You know, this is a baseball show, so we want to make sure that we acknowledge things when stuff like this happens. I don't know if you heard about this, Stefan, but Nelson Cruz's sister it sucks that I have to say was past tense, but she was a politician in DR, and apparently his sister was also a part of the people who unfortunately passed away. So we're talking about Dotel, we're talking about Blanco, we're talking about Nelson Cruz, who's suffering as well, you know, because of his sister passing away. I mean, just crazy all around when you really think about it, you know. And last but not least, the artist who everyone had showed up to actually see perform last night. I just found out a couple of hours ago that Ruby Perez, also passed away. So the numbers are just increasing. Like earlier today, I found out like it was under 20. Last time I checked, I think it was about like maybe an hour ago. The number's at like 66 people who have died. And it's unfortunate, man, because as we're doing the show tonight, the sad part is that number is probably going to continue to rise, right? So I just wanted to let that out, Stefan. You know, any words on that, and feel free to start with whatever it is that you would like to get into.
So let's start with the tragedy because that's the most important thing. Thoughts and prayers to Nelson Cruz and Octavio Dotel's family and the Blanco family as well. It just goes to show you, man, life is fleeting and you could be here today and gone tomorrow. So, try to cherish every moment with your family, with your loved ones, with the people, who you love and the people who love you. What it also shows you is you never know the day, the time, or the hour, brother. You could be and living life, enjoying life in a club, getting your party on, and the next thing you know, tragedy could strike. So, what I mean? Just don't take this thing for granted because, you don't know how many cracks at the can you got before, the man upstairs says, all right, you know what I mean? Time to wrap this up. But thoughts and prayers to everybody affected. Our thoughts and prayers are with the Dominican Republic, our baseball brethren, and also the Latino community, because we're both Latino on this channel. And, I'm Puerto Rican, Ivan. You're half Dominican, half Puerto Rican. So my thoughts are with you as well. And, people from the island, this is a tough blow. My sister-in-law actually texted me a few videos. I text you something on Instagram too, Ivan. So, it just goes to show you, man, it's death is no respecter of persons, man. You could whatever walk of life, you know what I mean, you could get, taken out. So we didn't mean to start on a somber note, but I thought it'd be fair to start here because life comes at you fast, man. We could be here today and then tomorrow's a different story. So, appreciate the love on the views as well. Appreciate that. You helping the channel grow and you know, just we don't take it for granted, man. And bear with us. We didn't mean to be gone a week, but cough, take a brother out. I've been here on these mics hawking before. We like, damn, yo, I can't get a word in edgewise. So, I was gonna give him an extra day, but I hit him and he was like, all right, we ready to go today. So I had to get.
I mean, I'm good, bro. We're like what, almost 9 minutes in, not one cough yet. I'm telling you, I'm getting better. You're gonna hear a couple, but it's not gonna be nothing crazy.
All right, when I crack that first joke and your ass starts laughing, we gonna see what you do then.
No, I'm gonna be good, bro. I'm gonna be good for sure. Because the thing is, too, like I didn't want to, because I know for a lot of people, they're like, oh, it's just a cough, this and that. No. Yeah, you see it as that, but when you think about what we actually do here on the show, and for how long as well, like people, we're not only here for like 30, 45 minutes.
Nah, you here for a good
minute. We're here for an hour and a half, close to 2 hours.
Yeah.
So if I would have, hit the mic yesterday or even the day prior, it would have been terrible because I would have been muting my mic midway through a point. Yeah. You would have been midway through a point. I would have been coughing up a storm, and we didn't want that at all. So listen, we're back, and as I mentioned,
soloing shit on the mic and shit.
Right. You guys are due. You guys are definitely due 2 shows tonight. But tonight being the first one, let's get this party started.
All right, man. Let's start this with some, let's start this with the injuries, and then we'll do the extensions. Um, Victor Robles made perhaps one of the most incredible catches I have ever seen on a
Amazing.
baseball field. First of all, usually you tell these players, all right, man, slow down. Don't risk your life and limb. That man, he said, fuck that. I'm gonna make this catch. My arm and shoulder is done. As soon as he hit the netting, and you see the way his arm and wrist bent, I was like, nah, they say 12 weeks. But for me, I don't think he plays again this year.
12 weeks is a long time. That's
12
what,
weeks is 3 months,
Yeah.
right? And then you got to rehab. You got to get your body back into shape. You got to get back into baseball shape. Who knows when he's going to be able to pick up a bat? So, God, man, like injuries just suck. And the Mariners are struggling as it is. They pulled off a improbable win last night against the Astros because Jorge Blanco just hit a 20 hopper up the middle that gave him a 4-3 lead to win that game. But it's just injuries are just terrible, man. That's the one thing about sports that I wish life was like a video game sometimes. You know how you could go on MLB The Show and turn the injury slider off so nobody gets hurt? I wish we could do that in real life because you want to see the best of the best on the field. And Victor Robles was definitely, a big part of that Mariners lineup who struggles for offense as it is. So watching him be out, I want to see how the Mariners attack this. And I had an interesting thought, Mariner fans. I'm thinking about doing the unthinkable. I want to lead off Kyle Raleigh. I know they won't do it because he's the big middle of the order bat, but just to get him 4 bats in a game for sure, maybe even 6, depending on how deep you get into a game, because the dude's an on-base machine, and he got enough power where he could turn a 2-run deficit into a 1-run deficit, or they even give you the lead. You know what I'm saying? I was thinking about that. How do we get this Mariner offense jump-started? And the first thing I thought was Kyle Raleigh 1, J-Rod 2, Arozarena 3, and then we work our way down from there. But that was my thought process earlier today. And I was like, I wonder what Ivan thinks about this. And if I'm crazy for thinking about this as a viable idea for them.
Yeah, no, I had never thought about that myself. But when you think about where the league is at today, and, back then it was really – your best hitter was like your number 3, your number 4 hitter.
Right.
But a lot of teams would actually, if not a lot of teams, I would say all actually would tell you now your best hitter is probably hitting in the number 2 spot, Yeah. So for him to be, in this case, as you mentioned, the leadoff spot, they could try it out. Listen, the Mariners have already shown the fan base, have already shown the rest of Major League Baseball that they're not going to really go, to an extent to land the bat that I guess a lot of people know that they need. So why not start to figure out how to make the best out of what you have right in front of you?
And that's my thought process. My thought process is if you're a victim of your own financial peril, why don't you try to do the best you can for the lineup? The fact that you're trying to put a lineup together now in terms of, hey, let's put the best players on the field at the top of the lineup so that we can at least be offensively productive as, the season moves along. And at some point, I'm going to say this for the record, the Mariners should think about tearing this thing down before it's too late. You should think about trading a few of these pitchers. You should think about trading Julio Rodriguez in the next, I want to say 12 months. That needs to be a conversation that needs to happen this winter in earnest. If you don't think you could put a team around him, move him now. While you
next
can
12 months. I hear you. I hear you from the standpoint of this is going to be, and I hate this, right? Because I'm going way back when I say this, and you know exactly where I'm going, Stefan. The whole J-Rod experiment is going to end up the same way Felix Hernandez did, the same way Ichiro Suzuki did. The Mariners just don't know how to make the best out of having a franchise player because they've had quite a few. And I just mentioned a couple.
It's tough, man, because, you want to see a talent like that. Julio Rodriguez is one of the most phenomenal talents in the big leagues. and you feel like you're wasting his talent. And if you're Seattle, like, hey, do you have to, fire everybody in the front office? Do you have to, start fresh, start new, with your general manager, your assistant general manager, the president of baseball operations? Like, that might be the thing that you have to do to kind of reset this thing. And maybe Jerry Dipoto is not the man for the job. Maybe he's not able to, put the correct pieces in place. And it sucks because I like Jerry Dipoto as a GM. I like how aggressive he is, but I also understand when you're hearing from ownership, hey, we can't spend the kind of money necessary to put a winner on the field. I get it. You know what I'm saying? You got Logan Gilbert, you got Brian Wu, you got all this pitching and all this high quality pitching, and you can't do nothing with it. Like, even their closer, Andres Munoz, is one of the best closers in the game. This guy throws 100 easily. He could easily be flipped for somebody that needs a reliever. Like, to me, Andres Munoz and Julio and one of those pitchers, whether it be Wu or Gilbert or whoever you want to throw, even Castillo, they can help the Orioles today. Like, if you put those two guys in a package and you tell the Orioles, what do you want to give me for those players? They can help the Orioles today. They can help the Red Sox today. They can help somebody today that's on the trajectory of trying to win. It's like, the Mariners are going to have to make some very tough decisions, and losing Victor Robles kind of accelerates the process of, we're 4-7. 4-7 through 11 games. And I know it's 11 games, but you're in a division with Houston. You're in a division with Texas. You're in the division with, I think the A's are going to be much more competitive this year than they were last year.
Right.
You're going to have a tougher time navigating your way through this division. So
I think just to add on to your point there, and I know we said this last season, and I hate the fact that we're still having this conversation for yet another season, but
right,
that's just the way it goes when it comes to sports, right?
Yep.
But I think this year, more than any other season, has to be the year where they really, as you mentioned, get rid of at least one or two of those arms to get the bat that they are desperately, I should say, are in need of. Because if you don't do that, I mean, at that point, do you really care? I mean, we saw how they went about handling the offseason. They didn't care much.
And then, not that they didn't care much, but when your owner tells you, hey, we're on a time, like, we're in a financial crunch. Like, we got, listen, they're another team that's being affected by the television situation. What are we doing? Like, what are we doing? Like, that's another team that you're going to have to figure out, hey, okay, how are we going to make this work? And so I understand where that might be a thought process in Mariners fans' minds. And I don't blame them for thinking that, the front office doesn't care. And, but the front office can only do what, ownership is telling them they're capable of doing. You can't make a miracle out of nothing. So to alleviate some of those concerns and to get some offense in there, you don't need as many pitches as they have, especially elite level pitches. And the thing is, those guys are going to get expensive. Two things are going to happen. They're going to get hurt, or they're going to get more expensive because they're going to be on the field. Yeah. Look at George Kirby. George Kirby's not going to pitch till probably mid-May, early June. All right. So he's already hurt. Brian Wu has a history of being hurt, hamstring issues, leg issues. He's dealt with, forearm tightness in the past. So, like, pitchers, while they're in high demand, they're very volatile. And Seattle has a bunch that could definitely change a couple teams' trajectory going into, this season.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't want to wish this on them, but they got. I'm not saying that they have to move now, but at some point this season, you got to actually get the mind to start working towards that direction of wanting to at least do something a little differently.
Right.
Because listen, you just mentioned a couple of guys on the team that are already hurt, guys who have, a known injury history. But we all know, like, once J-Rod goes down, man, you might as well just kiss the season goodbye.
Right. And so this is all right. I'm leaving it at this. Seattle has to do what everybody else is afraid to do, right? Seattle has to be the team that says, listen, we have something that's a commodity around the game, if you want to do this, this is going to change the trajectory of how you can build your franchise moving forward. Because I can sell J Rod on the idea. Listen, these pitchers we're not going to be able to keep all these guys. We can't win we can't win games 2-1 every night. Let's move some of these pitchers. Let's get you some offensive help, and let's try to do this, where we can slug our way through some games, but not trade everybody. Let's trade 2 of these guys. We'll still have 3 on the back end, and then the rest we could just fill in with whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to decide what's really important to you. Is it the pitching, or is it having a complete team? And I've always said this. The Mariners, there's no reason for Andres Munoz to be in that bullpen. Like, he needs to be traded immediately. You don't need a closer when you're going to win 83 to 85 games. Trade him now, because bullpen pieces are like volatile. They're like stock. One day they're here, the next day they're here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, when we could kind of complete this and get him dealt and get something for him while his value is about here, I would do that. And I don't know if the Mariners are capable. I don't know if they're thinking like that, but I would do that. And that's just my thought process. Speaking of injuries, because we've seen quite a few. I don't know how to feel about this injury, because it sucks.
Who are you thinking of?
So Connor Wong breaks his hand yesterday, breaks his middle finger, in fact, for the Red Sox. Red Sox are going to struggle now because of that. And people are like, oh, what do you mean? Why? Catcher, shortstop, and center field. I've said this before on the show. I'm going to say it again. The 3 most important positions on the field. When you lose your catcher, you lose the quarterback of your team. He sets everybody up for the defense on the infield. He protects the run game. He gets your pitchers through starts. I don't care what Connor Wong does offensively. The fact that Connor Wong is hurt and has a broken finger, and they don't know when he's going to be able to be, I'm hearing 4 to 6 weeks till he's back. That's going to be tough.
Right, yeah.
That's going to be tough.
The good thing, though, is that's definitely an injury that you can come back and be exactly who you were before you hurt yourself.
Right, yeah, you can come back from that. But, like, the Red Sox were just starting to find that mojo. They walked off.
They look good. They look fun, man. They look fun. They're exciting to watch. I've been watching a couple of their games.
They were just starting to find their mojo. Like, they walk off the Cardinals Sunday in Boston. They beat them on opening day. They score a shit ton of runs on Sunday Night Baseball. Jesus. And then yesterday, as soon as the injury happens, you felt like the air get like sucked out of the room. Hey, man, damn. Same thing with the Cardinals. The Cardinals were off to a nice little start until the other day. Ivan Herrera, bone bruise in his foot, gonna be out 4 to 6 weeks. At first, they thought he had a broken foot, and so they're lucky. But like,
I think he had a game a few days ago where he hit like 3 home runs or something crazy like that, right?
No, he had 2 home runs and a double.
2?
I think. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, one of those games that you're like, oh my god, you know what I'm saying? And so
I know he went berserk.
He went crazy. It might be 3 home runs, but I think I saw 2 for sure. Mm-hmm. And it's like injuries, man. Injuries.
Yeah, it was 3 on April 2nd.
Oh shit! Mm-hmm. So he did hit 3 home runs.
I remember. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Damn. Speaking of get off to good starts, Nolan Arenado was like, please get me the fuck up out of St. Louis, bro.
Yeah, he knows what's going to come with increasing his value.
Yeah, man.
Knowing, the chatter that went on during the offseason.
For sure.
This being the year when the Cardinals finally just say, yo, you know what? Listen, where do you want to go? We'll make it happen for you.
For sure. But I also think those 2 injuries for Wong and Herrera are going to be big for the Red Sox and Cardinals, especially when, the Red Sox are fighting for, a division crown possibly. The Cardinals want to stay in the wild card race before you have to make a decision on, do we trade a Helsley? Do we trade an Arenado? Do we trade a Gray? Do we trade, you know what I mean? Like, before we strip this all the way down, what does it look like? And so I think if you're John Mozeliak, your job just got a little bit more, I want to say it's easier, but you kind of prepared like, we might take a nosedive because, you can't lose perhaps your most important player on the field and expect to keep it afloat. And And he was helping the Cardinals offensively, like you said, the 3 home runs. Him and Nolan were having a big impact on that team, and it's just his loss just feels very, very significant right now. While we are speaking, you have thoughts on this?
No, we good.
Okay. While we are speaking about positive injury steps, Joe Musgrove threw off a flat ground today for the first time since having Tommy John last October. So the prognosis on him so far is good. He threw off a flat ground. I think.
So let me ask you this: is this because he can come back at some point this season, or he's not coming back at all? That's what I thought.
If you're throwing, there's a chance that.
But this is very late. This is probably September, right?
If he's lucky,
or maybe not until the playoffs, and that's if the Padres make it.
By the way, they're looking like they're gonna make it.
They look good. I'm gonna be honest, man. The Padres, and it's not because I didn't think they could start off this way, right?
The Giants.
I thought that they were gonna pick. I thought that they were gonna take a step back because I thought they had lost a lot of talent over the past couple of seasons. Mm-hmm. But the Padres somehow, some way, still managed to make things work with what they have in front of them. Mm-hmm. And they've gotten off to a good start, like you said.
Mm-hmm. But no, so he threw off. I wouldn't say he pitches this year. Let me not, getting Padre fans in the mentions. No, they already said he's out for the year. Listen, in all likelihood, he's not pitching this year.
Right.
But the fact that you're in your throwing program, you're throwing off a flat ground, you're trying to see what it feels like. It's a step in the right direction. I'm hearing whispers about like Garrett Cole thinks he could start throwing sometime in June or July. Telling everybody, I don't think I'm going to need the full 16 months. I'll be back in 9. You know what I mean? Like you might see me at the end of, the very beginning of 26, maybe even the end of 25.
Right. I mean, I'd rather see him in 26. I'm okay with not seeing him for the rest of this year.
What I'd say is I'd rather see him I'm gonna be honest, I'd rather see you in the middle of 26, brother. Get that rehab all the way right. Joe Musgrove, same thing. Get the rehab all the way right. Don't rush it back. We need you guys healthy on the mound and focused. Like, I love what the Dodgers are doing with Ohtani. They're slow walking the hell out this dog, brother.
But you see, they can afford it though. When you stack your team the way that the Dodgers did over the past couple seasons,
right,
you can afford it. But now that we're on the topic of injuries and the Dodgers, last week we spoke about the Freddie Freeman situation and him, I think, like aggravating the ankle again, getting into the shower or something,
slipping in the shower, and
right,
yeah.
And then we found out, I think, a couple days after, Blake Snell,
Sunday morning, yeah.
So my question to Dodgers fans is this, right, or even anybody who's watching right now, when, and I don't think they're doing it just yet, so I don't want to act like, oh, you gotta push the panic button now. No, not at all. But my question is, when do the Dodgers start to panic? Like, is it when Ohtani finally goes down? Is it when 2 or 3 other guys go down? Because, like, we're sitting here talking about some of the best players in the game who are not playing for them right now as we speak.
So can I make a joke? You push the panic button when the Guggenheim money runs out and there's no more.
So that's never.
Fuck you mean panic? What? We got prospects and we got money. I'm not panicking over nothing. Yo, Blake. My nigga, take till August. Yo, Tani, take till September. Whatever we need, we could go get. Oh, Andy Pye is struggling in center field? All right, cool. Yo, White Sox. Luis Roberts, a Dodger. What you need?
It's funny you say that because for a while now, we've been talking about like how well the team looks, the roster overall, I would say, and how well prepared they are for a full 162 game season. Mm-hmm. But it wouldn't surprise me if they're aggressive at the deadline, trying to like tweak this, tweak that to make sure that they're all hands on deck, even if guys are still hurt at that point.
I'm gonna
go on a deep playoff run.
I'm going to say something that's absolutely insane. So hold on to your seat, kids. they are going to acquire another ace type pitcher.
Damn, really? You think so?
Yes.
I don't doubt it, but just thinking of who they already have is like, are y'all serious?
They're
You want more?
They're gonna acquire an ace type pitcher, and they're gonna end up getting themselves a shortstop. And I'm gonna tell you this right now: forget Carlos Correa to the Yankees. I think Carlos Correa might end up with the Dodgers.
You think so? Wow.
Because Mookie Betts at shortstop, you can only play that game for so long before you realize, like, he's not really a shortstop. You can't be going into the playoffs with this dude as your shortstop. That's why I'm surprised they didn't give Willy Adames as much money as he wanted to go over there. Because I had Willy Adames going to the Dodgers. If you remember, I was like, Willy Adames is a Dodger. So, to me, they're gonna do two things. They're gonna acquire another starting pitcher, I believe, and then they're gonna go out and get themselves a shortstop, namely Carlos Correa. Probably, more than likely, I could see them doing that, and nothing's gonna stop them, because what's gonna stop them? Prospects, we got that. Money, we got that. Financial concerns, we don't got those.
Right.
We don't, like, what's stopping you? You know what I'm saying? And so they're the team. They're one team in baseball. Like, they could lose the next 20 out of 25, and I'm like, they're fine.
Yeah, same.
They're
like
fine.
I know
Like,
before we went live tonight, we spoke briefly. You were telling me that they hit a I guess a bump in the road, we should say, right? And they haven't looked all that mighty, but even with that, they're still gonna be okay.
They're fine.
Man.
They're fine. Like,
the sun is still gonna shine every day in LA. You got no worries.
And then here's the thing: it's freezing in Philly. It's freezing in DC. They don't want to be out here playing when it's 32 degrees. You can't feel your hands, and everything off the end of the bat feels like you got shot in the hands with a friggin' cattle prod. They're done. Their hands are done right now.
Speaking of freezing, I don't know how the Mets played that game today, man. They thought they did something by making it sooner rather than later.
Crazy.
But it was still bad.
Yeah.
I'm watching the game, and it's people wearing legit winter coats that you wear in like January, February. They're wearing them in April at a ball game.
The Yankees are in Detroit. It was snowing during the game yesterday.
Sheesh.
Snowing during the Yankee game yesterday. And then it was colder yesterday. It's colder today than it was yesterday. They got to the ballpark and the thermometer said 14 degrees.
It's crazy.
What the fuck? You want to play baseball? Are you kidding me?
I don't know how fans do it too, man. I don't care. You can give me 3 coats. I'm not going to feel comfortable sitting at a ballpark in April. Not at all.
No way.
I mean, October baseball is freezing. We know that. But you're okay with putting up with how it feels, because it's like, it's postseason baseball. Not too many people get to experience this. But come on, in April, people don't get sick trying to go to a game now. Don't end up coughing like me because you wanted to go to a game. I'm just saying, don't do it to yourselves. I'm for sure not gonna do it.
Nah, that cold is different out there, bro. I don't even understand how they manage. And then you see them all bundled up, cheering, all happy and shit. Me, after 3 innings, I'm like, all right, I want to go home. I had enough. Yeah. I had enough. Hell no.
I think a few days ago, I forgot which ballpark it was, but it was also snowing elsewhere too. I don't know if it was Colorado or somewhere.
Yeah. Opening their home opener. It was snowing.
It was bad, bro.
In the middle of the game.
I don't know how.
Are you crazy? Nah, bro. Hell no. Not me. Not me. I love my limbs too much for that. No, you was crazy. Speaking of crazy, and speaking of like more, I don't know if you call it, if you designate this an injury or just happenstance. So Spencer Arrighetti, he's playing catch in the outfield yesterday, and takes a rocket off of his one of his fingers. Broken finger. He's going on the IL. Not going to pitch for like another 4 to 6 weeks.
Wait, what was this like during BP or something? How did that happen?
During BP yesterday. Shagging ball got hit with a rocket. I think he broke his thumb.
How does that happen? I'm assuming it wasn't the glove side. It must have been the hand that didn't have the glove on it.
Yeah, the hand that pitches, because you ain't you shag with your opposite hand. The whole point
Right,
of
right.
shagging is to throw what you're pitching on.
Dan, that makes me wonder because I'm trying to picture the scenario in my mind, right? Like, was he not paying attention? Was he trying to be funny and try to catch it with his bare hand? Like, I'm thinking about the possibilities, and those are like the only two things that come to mind.
So I'm gonna look right now because we put the update on TikTok. So I just want to get this correct. By the way, follow us on TikTok and Twitter.
Oh yeah, let me actually let you guys know about that right now. Go ahead and follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. All three are at 27ounce3C. Shout out to those of you who are watching live right now via YouTube. Make sure you hit the thumbs up and definitely hit that subscribe button.
Yeah, Spencer Arrighetti broke his right thumb.
Yeah, and they're saying it was because a ball hit him.
He got rocked.
I don't know. He must have not been paying attention, bro. I don't understand how that happens, honestly. Because if you're out there shagging fly balls, shagging line drives, whatever it is that's coming your way.
Oh, wait. So Spencer Arrighetti broke his right thumb, got hit got hit on the pitching end by a batted ball during Mariners batting practice while playing catch in the outfield.
Damn, you see, so he wasn't paying attention, maybe. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he got rocked. He must have got rocked, bro. Because if you breaking your thumb from that far distance, somebody must have had a shot.
Yeah, and that sucks too, because these guys are pros, right? So there's no amount of like your heads or watch yourself that's gonna save you.
Nah. First of all, what are you doing on the field during Mariners batting practice, my boy? You on the field with the opposing team?
True.
You trying to get your ass lit up out here, bro?
Usually, I thought that you would usually see that high school, maybe college, but really at the big league level, why are you guys doing things on the field at the same exact time? Like I thought teams take turns.
Nah, yeah, no, yeah. Usually the home team goes first.
Right.
And then the road team gets last licks in batting practice. So when the visitors come in, the home team's already done and clubhouse going over the hitters meetings or whatever it is they're doing. But surprised he was on the field during that part of BP because, oof. Anyway, it ain't my thumb.
That's crazy, bro. Unfortunate for him.
Yeah. What was I gonna say too? You know what I found interesting? Because I'm trying to watch everybody. You know me, I'm watching everybody, everything, and I'm saying, okay, what works, what doesn't, what who's doing this, who's doing that. The injury that most breaks my heart is the pulled hamstring for Ketel Marte. Because when I saw this injury, brother, I was like, oh hell no.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for sure.
You just signed a contract extension. You feeling good about yourself, and your hamstring was like, pullage. Nope. And so that sucks. You hope the best for Ketel Marte that he's able to get back on the field healthy.
I hope it doesn't linger and it's not something that bothers
him. Yeah, because hamstrings are funny. You don't know. You come back too quick, and his whole shit could be, done. So, yeah, and it's just I'd rather you get hurt now, as sick as it sounds, than get hurt in the middle of the year or the end of the year. But face it, in that division, you wasn't. I mean, it don't really matter because you got to deal with San Diego, you got to deal with the Dodgers, and then San Francisco's out here just beating everybody till Hunter Green was like, "Hold up, slow down." Hunter Green looked filthy last night against
Hunter Green looks good, man. It wouldn't surprise me if this is the year that he finally just puts it all together and has a hell of a year for the Reds.
I'm gonna tell you this.
If you're gonna be competitive, you need Hunter Green to be good.
I got you. What if I told you I think Hunter Green might win the Cy Young this year, and I got two reasons why.
I mean, the way he's been looking so far, I wouldn't say that it's impossible.
Terry Francona and Jose Trevino. Veteran catcher, veteran manager. That kid's going to have the year of years this year.
Oh, I see. So are you saying that those two are going to be a big reason why he has the breakout season finally.
Yes.
Right.
Because like he dominated that Giants lineup yesterday. He dominated that, and they were on fire. They just swept the Mariners. They were on fire. They what are they 8-2 or something like that?
They're hanging in there. They're hanging in there with the Dodgers
all year, and Hunter Green comes in and breathes fire, and it's like, oh no, you're not winning today. The Giants had 3 hits through 9 innings yesterday. They lost 2-0. Hunter Green almost had a complete game. He got 2 outs in the 9th inning and walked 2 guys, and Francona pulled him. He was mowing them down yesterday, bro.
Yeah.
Filthy.
Mm-hmm. I'm happy for him. You know, he's been in the league for a couple years now. And sometimes it takes a few years for somebody to finally put it all together and to live up to the expectation, right? Because it's not like Hunter Green was a scrub entering the league, right? He just needed some time, you know? And now that he finally has the experience under his belt, and as you mentioned, veterans around him who care about him, veterans who want to see him be the best version of himself.
Yep.
This might be the year. Because I know when you think of the Reds, you think of Ellie De La Cruz and all these other guys, but Hunter Green, man, you're going to need Hunter Green to be that Hunter Green that you've seen so far.
Him, Nick Lodolo's another guy they're depending on, another young pitcher that's in their rotation. Like you need these young guys to step up, but you also need the offense to step up. Ivan, do you know they're the first team since the dead ball era began in 1920 to lose 3 games in a row, 1-0?
Yeah, I did hear about that a few days ago. Yeah,
bro, your pitching is keeping you in games, and you're losing games 1-0. What do we do? Wait, what?
The offense has to step it up.
That's crazy. That's next level crazy right there.
Yeah,
that is next level crazy.
You know what I did want to say, because I know you just mentioned Ketel Marte a few minutes ago and the hamstring.
For sure.
Did you hear about Jackson Merrill? Right before we hit the mics tonight, bro. Apparently, he also is dealing with a hamstring as well.
He's on the IL?
Yeah, Padres put him on the IL.
Oh, shit.
For the same reason. And it's crazy, too, because, you know, over the past few days, we found out about the extension. You know, he put out a statement about how he felt about the Padres and how he didn't really give a damn about what everybody else was saying. And I respect that, right? You know, he didn't really let what people were saying in his ear get to him. He didn't let what the rest of Major League Baseball was saying get to him. So it was looking good until, you know, we found out this earlier today. But I hope he's good, though. I hope he's fine because the Padres are going to need him.
That shit's like you just made me sad, man.
Yeah, bro. Like I heard about it. So obviously we went live at 8:30, and I think I heard about it maybe like 15 minutes, 20 minutes before, something like that. Pretty recent.
So hold on. That's when somebody got to send me a text message, yo, and be like, yo, this is going on, because I had nothing about it until you just told me. Because you know, if I had heard about it, that's going on all the socials and all that shit. That's crazy, bro.
Yeah. The sad part too is, like, I know all of these guys are dealing with different injuries and whatnot. But really think about the names that we've mentioned so far: Blake Snell, Freddie Freeman, Ketel Marte, Jackson Merrill. Like the list really goes on, and that's only now.
And there's gonna be more.
Yeah, other guys are gonna come back. Other guys are gonna go down who haven't gotten hurt yet.
Gunnar just got back for the Orioles. Gunnar was down for a nice little bit with a rib cage thing that he was dealing with.
Damn, was it from like swinging or something, or?
So like midway through spring training, he left the game because he went to make a dive and like his rib cage was bugging him.
Oh,
and so he just got back. Maybe I want to say a couple. Last series or the series before last, he just got back, and I'm like, damn, bro, what the fuck? Like,
see, and that's a tough blow for the Orioles, considering the fact that they don't have the pitching that they once had, and you need, I would say, all hands on deck.
Oh, for them,
with
for sure.
Offense, especially if you're gonna keep up with the Yankees, keep up with the Red Sox, keep up with the Rays and the rest of these teams, not only in your division, but as well as the rest of the American League too.
I have interesting I have an interesting little tidbit here. I know we're not talking about this, but I figured I'd share it. The Orioles' final offer to Corbin Burns. You want to hear what this offer was?
Probably. I feel like they lowballed him.
4 years, 180 million.
Wow, it's a lot of money. 4 years, 180. What is that?
Gotta be close to
Let me
40
see.
a year, no?
Let's do some quick math here.
4 years, 180 is crazy.
45. That's 45 per season. Damn. Now, I'm not mad at Burns because he did end up with more overall, which was probably what he was more interested in at the end of the day.
Damn.
But you would have been eating lovely for those 4 years, I would say.
45, yo, that hurts my soul just hearing you turn that money down. You did what, bro?
Wow.
Yo.
So why did that come out now and not during the off season or like shortly after he signed?
I have no idea.
Get it.
I have no idea, but
because we didn't hear that not once during the off season. We thought all along like they barely tried. We thought that they didn't even really care.
No, they I just found out about this offer maybe like just now. I just picked up my phone.
That's what I'm saying. Why I don't understand why we're hearing that now. That's crazy.
I mean, sometimes
like is this the Orioles trying to like tell people to leave them alone? And
we tried. He did. Listen, I believe his heart was set on pitching in Arizona. His wife is from Scottsdale. He's a West Coast boy. His wife just had twins. Come on. He wanted to pitch in Arizona. The Giants' offer, from what I heard, was way more than what the Diamondbacks offered him. Well, he took the Diamondbacks offer.
Here's my thing, though, right? If you're the Orioles, and I'm not saying you should have given the guy 7, 8, 9-year deal, 10-year deal, or anything along those lines, but if you were willing to pay 180 over 4 years, why not do like, I don't know, 220 or 240 over like 6, 7 seasons? You were right there.
What if I told you it wouldn't have mattered? What if I told you I don't think it wouldn't have mattered? Because I think
he didn't want to go back.
Either way he goes, he wasn't going back to Baltimore.
Yeah.
He didn't want to go to the Giants. Because, again, I want to say this. He initiated the conversations with Arizona. He initiated those conversations. Him and Scott Boras called the Diamondbacks and said, yo, we want to pitch for you. Can you make this work?
Yeah, I remember us talking about like where we thought he would go at the time. And I kind of feel like when the news broke that he was going to Arizona, it came out of nowhere. I don't think a lot of people had him going to the Diamondbacks.
We did a show that night. He signed really early in the morning because I remember being up. And I just remember hitting the group chat and Razor's like, Snake's got their man. Shout out to Rick. Snake's got their man. And this was about 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. And you hit the chat the next day with the damn. Mm-hmm. So nobody saw this coming. But then when you start to hear like, yo, he initiated the conversation. He wanted to be in Arizona. He wanted, his wife just had twins. Like, then it all makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like home, wife, new babies. You know what I mean? And also it don't hurt. It's 80 degrees every day. And if I'm not mistaken, isn't there no state income tax in I think Phoenix or Arizona? I think there's no state income tax.
I'm not sure.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
but that's how you know you're one hell of a player, right? In this case, we're talking about Corbin Burns. When you're the one who reaches out to a team, not in a bad way, but just to get the conversation going, and their response to you is,
hell yeah.
How many years? How much money? Because we weren't thinking about it. But now that you reached out,
now that you mentioned it,
we will sign away.
And again, this goes to the Vladdy thing. Because if Vladdy signs 14 years, $500 million. I think if you give the Blue Jay truth serum, they thought he was gone. And I heard it was Vladdy that kept the line open. Like, yo, if y'all come back to me, you get this number a little bit more this way, I'm coming back. Now that I think about it, I don't think Vladdy ever intended to go nowhere.
He never counted them out. He did, say a lot during the offseason, leading up to finally getting the extension to stay
I
there
if
ultimately, but he never really counted them out. It sounded like he didn't want to be there anymore. It sounded like, yo, these guys don't want to meet me where I'm at in terms of the years and the money more than anything else that I'm expecting for myself, knowing the type of player that he is. But as you mentioned, deep down inside, he was probably talking to them all along behind
yeah.
closed doors.
No, what it just tells me is I don't think it was the money. I think it was just strictly I got this many, I want this many years. If you get it somewhere around the 500 mark, I'm there. And he was there. And he let them know early. Like, yo, if you do this for me, I'm there. We did. Don't even worry about it. You know what I'm saying? And what it basically came down to for me was as soon as they got the years right, he was going to sign there because he was the one that said, listen, I don't want to have conversations. I don't want to initiate conversations midway through, the season or during the season. But the Blue
Straight
Jays
up lying because they were talking all along.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna let. He's not lying. Why does the public need to know that? There's nobody's business between mine and my employer.
But that's why I say it was a lie because of what he said to the public. You told us one thing when something else was happening. Because I agree, it doesn't have to be our business. But if you say the things that he said in this case, the only reason why many of us thought that he was going to be traded at some point this season, he wasn't going to remain with the Blue Jays, was because of his own words.
So here's what I'll tell you.
If he didn't talk the way that he was talking, nobody would even think that way.
So, but here's my response to you in full response. That's why I don't listen to nothing these athletes, GMs, presidents, nothing these people ever say is true. There's always some level of a grain of like salt somewhere. Like I know what my message wants to be, but I know what the message really is. The message was, oh, they're not meeting me. They're not meeting me where I want to go. Is a message to Mark Shapiro and Ross Haskins like, y'all dudes is on the clock. Like, let's go.
Now that he finally got what he was looking for, I truly believe that what he was saying publicly was just to get the Blue Jays to give in.
And
to finally say, all right, don't go anywhere. We want you to stay here.
Exactly that.
What are you looking for? We'll get it done.
Exactly that, because as soon as they met his asking price, what he did. Conversation done after that. Soon as your asking price is met, you already know the deal. Like you already know that's it's gonna happen, right? So they met his asking price. He got his money. Everybody's happy. Let's sing all kumbaya together. And here's the thing that the Blue Jays know: we couldn't lose Vladdy. We couldn't lose Vladdy after losing out on Ohtani, after losing out on Soto, after losing out on all these dudes. We can't lose you too. Nah. Losing
and
you.
The thing is, too, they had to sign him as well. And you pointed out, something yesterday, Stephen, when we were on the phone. But another thing that really stands out, too, look at the guys that they were in on, right? Now, whether they were a finalist or not is besides the point. But just the fact that you were willing to sit down and have conversations with Juan Soto,
right,
with Ohtani, these guys cost way more than Vladdy Jr., which means that at the end of the day, what Vladdy was asking for was never really a problem.
No. And for all everybody that says, oh, well, baseball, the revenues are down and all this is down. Nah. The sport itself is worth $12.1 billion, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who's a 26-year-old first baseman / DH, just got $35.7 million a year. The sport is okay. We doing okay. We like the Juan Soto contract, of Ohtani contracts. Those are outliers. Those ain't for real. Those ain't for real human beings. They're mortals, and everybody else is they're immortal. We're just regular humans.
Yeah, that's for like a special breed.
You talk about perhaps the greatest hitter of our generation outside of this generation. You know what I mean? The best left-handed hitter of this generation, and you're talking about perhaps the modern day Babe Ruth, the equivalent to something we've never seen before. Him getting 700 million, I get it. I get it. I get it. Like, so I get when Vladdy was like, yeah, I get it to 500 and I'm yours. And they did, and he went. Not everybody's going to want the buku money. Now, if you look at Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s salary in totality, his salary is by far, by the numbers, he's the third highest player in baseball. His contract is the third highest player in the game right now. Because I know we say Ohtani and we say Soto, but like for him to be third is kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
For a first baseman / DH that's not going to play any position other than, I think Vladdy's DHing in like 3-4 years, bro.
At some point, yeah.
Yeah.
3-4. I don't think 3 years. He won't even be 30 years old yet. I think a little more than that. I'd probably say like,
bro.
You said he's 26, right? So
you gave.
I want to give him at least till like maybe 33, 34-ish around there. He's a fairly young dude, bro. You know.
Nah, but he's also a very out of shape dude that you just give a lot of money to that likes to eat. No,
right.
If you're lucky, he's playing first base till he's about 29, 30, and he's DHing by the time he's 30 years old. Just to keep him on the field. Yo, the Big Poppy this shit out.
Right. But it also, like, I get it. You're going to want to do that for him in terms of longevity and keeping him healthy and on his legs.
For sure.
But the thing, because I like this for both sides, right? I like it for Vladdy, and I also like it for the Blue Jays. But what I'm really interested in, and we're not going to see anything just yet, but what are the Blue Jays going to do in terms of what the team looks like around him? Because, okay, you got your franchise player. Not a bad way to start, being able to keep a guy like Vladdy Jr. for the next decade plus, right? By all means, any other team would love to do that.
Right.
But who else are you going to be able to attract to go to the Blue Jays to play alongside Vladdy? And forget about playing alongside Vladdy, but being a contender. Like, the Blue Jays have to get that going once again. It's been a while. Like, the last time the Blue Jays were legit contenders, you got to go back to when they had Jose Bautista, Edwin Encarnacion, MVP Josh Donaldson. I know that was, years back, but they had a hell of a squad.
David Price was on that team.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
Marco Estrada was
right. So that's what I'm really worried about when it comes to the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
But we're not there yet. But this is a step in the right direction, I would say.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And it also shows, one, he didn't want to go anywhere, and two, they don't want him to go anywhere because they got this done in the dead of night. And I'm like, all right, 12 o'clock midnight, bow, Vladdy's a Blue Jay now. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got this done relatively quick. The only thing that I find a little quirky about this, you hear about this? The deal's not official till he takes a physical.
Really?
Like, you're playing games, my boy. What you mean take a physical?
You can't use the one that you just used to start the season? Like, it hasn't been that long.
I know. So the interesting part about it is because they haven't made an announcement yet. I think they're going to wait till they get back to Toronto, put him through an extensive physical, or what they're calling an extensive physical, and then announce the deal. But I'm like, yo, he's playing in games, my boy. Like, he's on the field. What type of physical do you need to go through? I found
treating him as if he came from like somewhere else.
Yeah, I'm like, hold up, wait. You about to reject this deal because there's a spot on his knee or something that don't look right? Like, you can't reject this, dude. Like, even if there's something in the physical that don't look right, you can't tell the fan base, yo, I know we said we gonna sign this dude to a lifetime deal and then turn around and renege on the deal. You know how crazy you would look? That looks crazy. So the fact that,
I mean, if I'm Vladdy Jr., and I don't think this is gonna happen, but if something like that were to happen where like it gets rejected or something like that, if I'm Vladdy Jr., I ain't talking to nobody at all about, yo, let's work this out. I'm out.
Not.
Oh, we didn't get it done the first time? I'm out.
You know what's crazy is that made my antenna go up in the head. Like, hold up, you got to take a physical for you to tell him the deal's fine? Like,
as if he's a random or something. Like,
I mean,
like, played his entire career with you guys.
Wait, something don't look right to y'all. What you mean?
At this point, with how many years he's played with y'all probably know his entire, like,
He just did a
History.
physical for y'all like a month ago in Florida, my nigga. What you talking about, bro?
That's what I'm
Like,
saying. Yeah.
come on. And you know what? You know why they do that though? Because this is a different level of money. This ain't just a regular, this ain't, you know what I mean? This is different level of money. Like that,
Yeah.
yo, a physical Razor, hold up, bro. A physical during the season is wild, my nigga.
Especially this early in the season. Like, had it been later in the year,
bro,
I'd be like, okay, like I get it, but
he just underwent a physical like last week.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Hold up, bro. TD, what's up, bro?
TD, what's good, man? Welcome, like always.
Nah, man.
Oh, there goes Siri. Siri thinks I'm talking to her.
Yo, a physical mid-season is disrespectful, dog.
Mm-hmm.
I just said the fact that you making me go through this shit, I basically want to renege the deal by myself. All right, bro. Fuck your deal, my nigga. I'm about to go and see if I can find this somewhere else. Gonna make me take a physical, and we just finished doing this.
That's what I'm saying. If you're the Blue Jays, don't let it go bad.
Nah, bro.
Don't let it go bad.
Crazy? Nah, you wildin'. Yo, if I was him, if I was his agent, I'd have looked at like, hold up. We just painstakingly went through this negotiation process, and at the end, you slip in. It's all pending a physical. What you looking for?
Mm-hmm.
You looking for him to fail something?
Right. You looking to back out? Yeah.
Word, because I'd have been like, hold on.
Do you really want to give me this money?
Yeah. You said the deal's what? Based on a contingent on the physical. Not while I'm playing. Nah. In the offseason, I'd have been like, all right, I got to come in. I got to take a physical. I might be a little bit overweight. I might, you know what I mean?
Because you're not playing. You're not active.
Yeah, but he's playing on the field, bro.
Right.
That is crazy, bro.
Mm-hmm.
If I was Vladdy and his agent, I'm like, yo, these dudes try to renege on this at the last second, bro. We is going to riot, bro. First of all, they can't renege on it. Because you know the difference, bro? The difference is you ain't even got a city that'll go crazy on you.
Mm-hmm.
You got a whole country. The whole country of Canada will go crazy if this dude ain't a Blue Jay, bro. And he gave you a discount.
True, yeah.
What?
Because, like I told you, when we were having our conversation after we had found out, I think he could have gotten more, considering that the deal that he signed with the Blue Jays was over the course of 14 years. Anywhere else, I think he could have easily gotten more.
Hold up, Razor. Hold up, bro. Listen. This right here, this is the point. That is nuts, bro. So let's say, for instance, and I'm not wishing on this, God forbid, let's knock on all wood, types of wood together, or whatever you believe in, knock on a wall, do something. If he tweaks a hamstring tomorrow in Boston before they come back to Toronto, what did you get off on a technicality? Like, hold on, your hamstring is tweaked. We can't give you the deal. Huh? Yo, the fact that the players union wasn't outside yelling about this, I'd have been. You said, hold up, you made that man go through all these negotiations. You rake that man through the coals. You didn't pay this man until right now, and you're gonna tell me this is all contingent on quote unquote physical that he could flunk tomorrow because he's on the field playing baseball? If I'm him, I'm sick. If I'm him, I'm tight.
He's probably chilling, most likely. Especially since they came to the agreement. I think he's straight.
He's chilling. But if it was me, I'm like, hold on. You said I got to do what?
Mm-hmm.
Yo, the thing about me is, bro, the thing about Stephen is vindictive. Stephen is vindictive. You said I got to do what? Take a physical?
Nah, bro. But being vindictive isn't always the way, bro. Because at the end of the way, you could still win. Whether you get back at them or not, you could still end up winning.
Hold up. I'd have called off the whole deal the moment you told me I got to take a physical.
Nah, I don't think it's that deep, bro. It ain't that bad. It's not.
It could be that bad because just like Razor just pointed out, What if
Right.
what if the Blue Jays try to get off on the technicality and I'm fucked out here?
I think, realistically speaking, I think it depends on the type of injury, because players get banged up all the time, right? So something could happen. I'm not trying to act like nothing could happen. Something can happen, but I think how serious and how it could impact him long term is what they're
That's
really looking into.
that's a fair point, but it's like
Yeah,
if this was Carlos Correa with his ankle, that's different. Carlos Correa wasn't playing the games. Carlos Correa went through an off season. Carlos Correa had his ankle looked at by multiple teams, and everybody said they think this is going to be an issue. That's
yeah. The
cool.
Mets did. The Giants said it. Yeah.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm telling you this just on the strength. I've been playing in big league games for damn near 2 weeks. Do I not look physically fine to you? I look fine. To me, I look fine. I look okay. And you told me the deal's all contingent and the physical. I'm not saying the deal don't get done because I think it gets done, but I'm just pointing out when you read these contracts and when you read these agreements and when you read the tweets that come out and the emails that come out, read the fine print like pending a physical. At first I thought, yo, he's about to sign this deal, and that's why the deal hasn't been made public yet. That scares me. Yo, did we what's today? Today's Tuesday?
I think today's
You signed this man 48 hours ago, my nigga. Hold on. What you said? What is physical? Huh? Nah. This point right here. Hold up. This point right here. It doesn't matter. That stipulation is BS. They already know what he is, and he's been there. Thank you, bro. You playing in games.
I guess it depends on who you speak to, bro. Like I understand where you guys are coming from, but I'm not looking too deeply into it because I think it works out at the end of the day.
No, I think it does too, but I also think this is a big part of it. I think
like had we known about something that Vladdy Jr. was dealing with, then we could be like, damn, the Blue Jays offered him this money. Y'all know he was dealing with this, and this is why you want to put him through that physical. You get what I'm saying?
All right.
So if it was that, then I would be right there with you and Rick. But that's not the case.
But here's the other thing. Can we just point out this for the record though? The Blue Jays are not run by a single owner. They are run by Rogers Entertainment, I believe. Somebody help me out with this.
Mm-hmm.
Not one single entity owns the Blue Jays. They are run by a
it's a communications company, Rogers Communications.
Yeah, they're run by a communications company, which is why Rogers Financial and Rogers Communications is who's running the Blue Jays, which means there's not one single owner that you speak to that says, all right, we're handling Blue Jay business. There's many people that have to sign off on this because I'm sure there's shareholders and people that have to get the Iggy on whether this gets put through or not. That's you know what I mean? And you know what? TD, I'm gonna tell you this. That's illegal. You can't do that. You can't. What did he say here? The Blue Jays are trying to lower this is pure, simple on bonuses and years. The Blue Jays are trying to. You can't do that. Then why'd you sign him to the contract? That right there is illegal. You can get the players union can sue you for what's that called when you don't negotiate in good faith. They could sue you for that. That's a lawsuit. If you were trying to lower the AAV and the years and the bonuses and all that, and if what I heard is correct, he only gets one thing out of this. He gets a signing bonus. He doesn't get opt-outs. He doesn't get none of that. The only thing he gets is a signing bonus. There's no deferrals. There's no opt-outs. It's straight 14 years. You know what I'm saying? To the 10 people in here, what is up, yo? Throw a 10 in the chat one time.
Shout out to everybody who's watching right now. Make sure you guys go ahead and follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. All three are at 27ounce3C. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. It does go a long way. And make sure you definitely subscribe as well.
No, I'm not saying you're wrong, bro. But could you blame me for having my antennas kind of peaked when they talked about when they talked about him needing to take a physical and what that would mean, that kind of piqued my antennas a little.
It is fishy, as I mentioned, because he's not a random. He's not some guy that you just acquired via a trade. You've had him for his entire career. I know where you guys are coming from. Trust me. Absolutely.
Yeah. Also, too, right? Here's the other thing I'm gonna tell you too, which is funny. Vlad signed a contract with the Blue. Nah. Everybody got to come to the amicable agreement together. One side can't sign on. That's like saying that's like some WWE shit. You see when somebody signs a contract, bro, and the other guy don't sign it, just so he can get that little last till cheap shot in and shit before the match. They're like, "Oh, you sign it, but I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna make it seem like I signed it, but I ain't signed shit. I'm gonna power bomb your ass through this table. I'm gonna bust you open. Then I'm signing this shit. I see you at the pay-per-view, dog. That's some WWE shit. Like,
you're gonna make life hard for you before it becomes official.
Yeah, nah, man. Nah, you ain't doing that. And also, you don't think players around the league see this? So you putting your own man through this? Your mans that you knew since you drafted, you putting your own mans through this? That's a cold world, bro. That's a dirty game.
It's strange for sure.
That's dirty, dog. Mm-hmm. And it's not like, and the thing is, it's not like you sign him before opening day. If you sign him before opening day, I can see what the need for a physical is needed. But he's playing in games for you. What are we, 10 games in, 11 games into the season?
Right.
What could a physical possibly show you now that it couldn't show you when he first got to camp?
Mm-hmm. Unless they had already known about something that hasn't hit the public yet, you know.
Which is what I'm thinking, which is why. Because notice, this has been all around baseball. They talking about this. The Blue Jays nor Vladimir Guerrero have commented on this publicly yet. You talk to the Blue Jays, I don't know what you're talking about. We can't talk about that. And you're like, hold up, wait. You can't talk about re-signing your own player? Oh, shit, look who's in the building. Know what I mean? Look who it is, Mr. Troll himself.
Shrek, what's going on, bro? How's it going? Looking at your mansions. Yeah. But, you know, now this actually opens up even more doors for Pete Alonso, right? Because I told you this yesterday, Stefan. Mm-hmm. Now you got the teams who were interested in wanting to get Vlad in the offseason now having to pivot because they're still going to want to make a move for first base, depending on who those teams are, right? So now there's going to be more eyes on Pete Alonso moving forward.
For sure.
Which means if Pete Alonso's a smart guy, dude, man, I'm not saying you got to have a season like your rookie year.
Nah,
year has to be very close to that.
I'm not. I see.
Gotta be close to that.
This is where me and you are going to disagree, Razor. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion he's staying in Queens. I think if he has the year of years, you're going to have multiple teams calling this dude and be like, yo, what is it going to take to get you? What's it going to take, bro?
Well, the thing is, too, Rick, it's not that I don't think anybody really thought that he was getting Vlad money. No. I just think that people are now aware that he can get more than what the market said he's actually worth.
And when you got teams that are desperate, bro. So what may happen is, you know, even if the Mets offer him a certain amount of money, if somebody says, yo, I need a first baseman, we got to get this done like tomorrow.
Right.
Teams might be desperate to do this, man. A team
I do think that he will stay in Queens, but I don't think it's a lock. I wouldn't say that.
Ultimately, I do ultimately think he goes back to the Mets, but I do think there's going to be other suitors in the mix, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think, for the record, if Pete Alonso has a huge season, what have a few teams that we know need offense? Like a few teams we know need offense, right? So in my head, I'm like, let's start going through this. Are you really happy with Josh Naylor in Arizona? Or can I get Pete Alonso to go there and play first base? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing with Houston at first base? Is Christian Walker going to stay healthy, or are we going to have to move him to DH? Like, what are we doing? Like, there's a bunch of options. Also, the Giants still want to spend some money. So if anybody's gonna get Pete Alonso the lead, it might be the Giants to say, "Hey, big fella, come on! You seen the success we had last year?" Because if the Giants make the playoffs, the Giants still want to spend some money. And I give Razor credit. You in here, so I got to give you your flowers, Razor. I think if the Giants have a really good season, they're gonna get free agents to go to San Francisco again. Because not only do you have a good team, but you have Buster Posey as the president of that team. Like you dealing with Mr. Giant.
Yeah.
Like Buster
Who is
Posey
still
is
fairly young and could relate to a lot of these guys.
right.
And he played alongside most of these guys, you know?
Yeah.
Like it hasn't been too long since Buster Posey decided to retire.
It's true. It's true.
Mhm.
So I think there's a chance that, I mean, yeah, he Razor what he's been on the Giants band for a while. And look,
hey, there's still some time, but to start the season off,
they look good.
They look good. They're right up there with the Dodgers and the Padres.
The reason why I think the Giants are somebody to at least have a conversation about is because I like their pitching. Robbie Ray looks good so far. I don't care what Justin Verlander does for them per se on the field. I just think having his presence in the clubhouse, getting Logan Webb through starts, getting through the youngins through starts, getting Jordan Hicks through a start or two because he's a flamethrower. Like just getting the young guys through some starts is going to help the Giants, and I think the offense is going to be better this year too.
And plus, JV's a winner, right? Like he could actually instill the winning mentality. Like, listen, you guys are ready to win because I could teach you guys more than a thing or two. Yeah. I've been around that block a couple times actually myself. Yeah.
Nah, you can't say that. It's a business, bro, at the end of the day. If somebody offers you the right money, it's a business. You can't never say somebody's never going to leave when it's all about dollars and cents to me, bro. If the Mets meet his asking price, he'll stay.
How many times have we thought over the many years of all of us watching baseball combined, have we thought a guy was going to go somewhere and they don't go there?
And they don't go there.
And we thought a guy was going to stay somewhere and he doesn't stay there.
Yeah. So it's like, I mean, you can't like this. That's one thing that's hard to predict because nobody knows. And also, I'm going to mention this again for the 100,000th time. With a lockout on the way, these guys are going to want to make sure their bags are secured before we get to a work stoppage.
That's another thing, too. Now that you mentioned that again, I wonder if, because just over the past 7 days alone, like the amount of contract extensions have been crazy. We've talked about a few of them here tonight. I wonder if guys are giving in so soon because they're afraid of what things could look like after. Or maybe they want to actually settle early, knowing that the bag is secured early on, and they don't got to worry about what's going to happen 2, 3, 4 years from now because they already locked it in.
Yeah. And so, like, we got to give TD credit. We gave Razor credit. We got to give TD credit for the Christian Campbell extension because he had that number spot on. He said 8 years, 60 million. So shout out to you. We got to give you a shit ton of credit for that because you nailed that when we were looking at you like, nah, that's a little crazy, but he nailed it. He nailed it. That's exactly what he got. I almost wanted to jump.
Wait, hold on. Are you TD? Who you calling Mookie Betts Jr.? You saying that about Christian Campbell or? Because I didn't know you guys already had a nickname for Mookie Betts Jr., whoever this guy is. I haven't heard that yet. That's why I want to know from a Red Sox fan standpoint. Like, who are you guys calling him now?
Mookie Betts Jr. is wild. That's wild. Hold up, bro. This guy's played like 3 games in the big leagues and we call him Mookie Betts. Yo, that's insane, bro.
He looks really good though, man. He looks like,
but
it looks like the extension wasn't a mistake so far, and it looks like the Red Sox deciding to actually have him up at the big league level was a good decision too.
Even if he struggles, though, right? It doesn't matter. Even if he struggles, right? The amount of money you're paying him is nothing compared to what he could have gotten on the open market. So it's like it's cool. So because even if you said, oh, we're gonna pay him player X, player Y, all this amount of money, it really doesn't.
Wow,
matter. Like
this is interesting here. So is this going to be another guy that they secure early?
They're trying to.
They're going to do the what's this guy's name with the Brewers? Jackson Chourio. I think he didn't actually play at the big league level yet, and they had already given him an extension. Isn't that what they did last season, right? I think it was like early last year they did that with him.
Yeah, so
looks like the Red Sox are trying to pull off a similar move with Roman Anthony, like you said, TD.
Yeah. What I will tell you is, if they do get the Roman Anthony thing done, you lock down 2 of your franchise guys for below market value.
Right.
You got them done early.
And then on top of that, Garrett Crochet as well, who's been looking good for them. They're good, man. Red Sox are going to be good for the next few years.
Good tonight. Garrett Crochet looked good tonight. The Blue Jays got to him a little bit, but he looked good tonight. Paul Skeens got lit up a little bit tonight too by the Cardinals. Baseball is a funny game, man. The Cardinals look like they couldn't beat. They look like they couldn't beat a teammate of 9 of you, me, TD, Razor, Shrek, Emilio, Chad. They look like we would have smoked them a couple days ago.
Right.
And then they come out here and smoke Paul Skeens. I'm like, your baseball's weird, man. It's a weird game.
Is there anything crazy happening right now? I know before we went live, I know James Wood had 2 homers against the Dodgers. Did he hit a third?
Ohtani almost hitting for the cycle last night was nuts.
Yeah, but the only reason why I'm asking now specifically is because we're not able to watch games while we're doing the show, right? Unless we're doing a watch along. So I've said this before, but if you guys ever like hear of something like crazy about to happen or already happened, right, officially, let us know, because we want to be able to get into stuff like that live with you guys. If the word is if, big if.
Nah, I'm trying to scout through the internet.
Hey, I mean, listen, TD, you being a Red Sox fan, I'm sure you know what you're talking about. But I mean, come on, man. Let's not act like Mookie Betts is not like one of the greatest players, we've ever seen, bro. He's a hell of a player. But if that's what you guys want to compare him to,
you're just trying to forget the pain of losing Mookie Betts, which I understand.
Right.
Losing Mookie Betts is tough, but calling him Mookie Betts Jr. is wow.
You know what? Speaking of that deal still, I know we've talked about it here on the show before a couple times, especially with UTD. But Donald Trump, so the Dodgers, they went to go visit the White House. And, Donald Trump actually spoke about that trade. He said he thought it was terrible at the time for the Red Sox, clearly, like all of us have said over the years, ever since the trade happened. But it's funny how even the president himself is still talking about the fact that the Red Sox messed up years later. Just adds on to everybody's point even more.
All right. So, oh, wow. The Blue Jays won 6-1 tonight. That's back-to-back wins for the Blue Jays in Boston.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Honestly, man, I ain't really worried about the Blue Jays this season. I guess the biggest news for them is landing their franchise player for the next 14 years. Or should I say not yet? Because the way y'all was arguing early, I was like, damn, well, hold on now. Let's not act like it can't happen still. Yeah, the Blue Jays, I'm sure we're going to have moments where we talk about them. But I'm more interested in Yankees, Red Sox, even the Rays as well, and some of the other teams in the American League. I think the Blue Jays are going to be more on my radar in the future if they go about things the right way, which they have to now, because what's the point of just doing this and not wanting to do the rest?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out because I'm trying to see.
This is true, Shrek. Yeah, this is true. And that's why I said, I believe it was in the last show that we did, I said, like, are we really going to sit here and act like, oh, it's because he's no longer a third baseman? Like, I don't really think it was that.
Nah,
it was
Rafi.
Like, everybody, here's what I want to say, right?
Yeah.
Can everybody really just simmer down, especially in April, when it comes to baseball more than any other sport? You got to relax. Like, even I already hear Mets fans, bunch of people complaining, oh, Lindor this, Lindor. This is what Lindor does. He's going to be scorching hot for like what? By the time May or June comes, you're gonna be kissing his behind. Like everybody, just chill.
Also,
For certain guys, this is just how they get things started for themselves. It's
you want to
perfectly
know something
normal.
crazy? Yo, you know how people are killing Devin Williams around? Oh, Devin Williams. I don't see no difference between him and Clay Holmes. How do you blow that game the other day? I'm like, yo, dog. Yo, dog, hold up a second, bro.
You don't see the difference. First of all, you're talking about the actual performances that he's been able to put on. Put that aside. Talk about the stuff itself. Clay Holmes don't have Devin Williams stuff. I'll start right there.
Not only that, Clay Holmes just spent, Devin Williams just spent a week on the paternity list. Like, he didn't pitch in the last couple games. Like,
just had a newborn. I know what that feels like.
Fans are fickle, man. It's like, let that man settle back into his routine of going to the ballpark and getting up and throwing pitches. It's like, I can't.
You
bro.
also got to remember too, and I don't really know what Devin Williams has going on outside of playing baseball. I mean, he's a father now.
Yeah.
But being a father myself, when you have a newborn, your sleep is crazy, bro. Like you waking up 3 times a night, 4 times a night. So I don't know if Devin Williams is hands-on like that right now as we speak. But if he is, like, listen, that's gonna play a big role in your performance.
You know what's crazy? So this is crazy because Razor mentions that the Rangers and Cubs are in a battle, 6-6 top 8.
Cubs look good, man. After that Tokyo series that they had against the Dodgers, the Cubs look good, man. Seiya Suzuki, Kyle Tucker, Justin Steele bounced back yesterday after a couple rough starts to start the year.
Yeah,
they're gonna be good, bro.
They're gonna be all right. And listen, look, they had a knockdown drag out fight with the Padres the other day. Sunday they lost the game 7-6, but Kyle Tucker looks comfortable with the friendly confines of Wrigley Field. That brother was on a run last week, boy.
Yeah.
What, he hit 4 home runs in 4 consecutive games? He was on his bullshit last week.
I wouldn't be surprised if 2025 ends up being like a career year for Kyle Tucker.
Oh, yeah.
And rightfully so. Like if you're looking to get paid, like you kind of need that,
For sure. The other thing that I'm watching very closely so far is, the amount of like runs being scored around the game. This is good for baseball. Commissioner Manfred says, listen, I don't see nothing wrong with the torpedo bats. I think it's good for the game. I think the fact that people are talking about it is good for the game, which is true.
Oh, you know what they actually did? And it's funny, too, because we were just talking about this. I don't know if it was last week or the week before, but remember how we were like, oh, why didn't Major League Baseball like already put out a video or something prior to the season just to gear everybody up for like the torpedo bats, what they look like, why players want to start using them. Now they're starting to pump out content and videos about how you make these things, right? It's funny. But like you said, this was probably all a part of their plan.
To get people talking. It's almost like I guess all press is good press.
Yeah.
Especially when you trying to get people to talk about your product, talk about the game itself, because it is struggling with ratings overall. So I guess if you're getting people to talk about you're doing something right. You know what I'm saying? This I disagree with, because
why that situation in particular, Shrek? I need more, because that didn't even cross my mind. We covered it as well. By the way, shout out to everybody who showed love on that short. I think we got over 1,200 views on that short, if I'm not mistaken. That was crazy. So we appreciate that for sure. But yeah, Shrek, I want to know why you say that, because players use PEDs every year. Why Profar in particular?
Let's
see. South really forehead gaming. Yo, I know, I don't know this, Shrek. I think knowing you, I kind of feel like you had mentioned his name originally, which was a little while back now, as all fun and games and whatnot. But he's not all that bad of a player. He's actually okay. Now he's not a household name. but he doesn't look like a scrub, at least to start the season so far. He looks all right.
For sure. I found this interesting though. So, you know what I find funny? So the Nationals had their first puppy at the park night. When you letting when the dogs are in the yard and the dogs are more entertaining than what's happening on the field, you're gonna be a bad team.
They let fans bring their dogs?
The Pirates, yeah, they let fans bring their dogs to the game. Yeah.
Oh, the Pirates. You said the Nationals.
The Nationals do it too. The Nationals do it. The Pirates.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm a big fan of that, bro.
You know what I mean?
You know, somebody's dog gets like overly excited because the crowd is cheering. He ends up getting on the loose or something. You know how dogs are when there's a lot of noise, bro. You know, they don't really like too much noise. A lot of dogs are afraid of thunder, actually.
Mets do it too. Interesting.
The Mets?
Yeah.
Well, the Mets, listen, man. I'm not gonna lie, man. The way Steve Cohen is moving, I wouldn't be surprised if he turns Queens into a damn amusement park. The whole damn borough, honestly. Yeah, because it just looks like he wants to make sure it's family friendly for all ages.
Right.
But that's good though, you know.
Right. Nah. Yeah, but you also not playing for 80 games though. And if the Braves would have made the playoffs, you can't play in the playoffs. And you know what you get for playing in the playoffs? Bonuses and money and shit. It's not worth it, man.
Yeah, well, we actually said that ourselves too, Shrek. The fact that he had his best season thus far, being on PEDs, you know, even though he didn't get caught last year, but it wouldn't surprise me if he was already doing it.
It does not matter. So $36 million shouldn't justify why you taking that's bullshit. And why would you settle for $36 million when honestly teams are never going to look at you the same way again? They're never going to look at you the same way again. So you happy with that one payday? Because you just fucked yourself.
You know what? I think Profar might have been thinking like that, bro. Maybe he was like, yo, let me just do this. You know, I've been in the league for a little while now. I could actually get paid. Why not?
And TD, to your point, I agree with it, but I also disagree with it at the same time.
Yeah, he definitely got the contract because he was on it. Absolutely. Nobody can tell me otherwise.
No, yeah. No, but TD made a point here. It's like torpedo bags are not the issue. The MLB payroll the dispensary is a big issue. Well, here's what I'm going to tell you. If it forces other teams, this is what I'm saying. To me, it doesn't matter. Because the teams that are going to spend money are going to spend money regardless. And the teams that don't want to spend money are going to stay broke and keep having bad teams. The industry's worth $12 billion. All these owners are rich. All these owners have money. They can spend money if they choose to. They just choose not to.
Right.
That's the biggest key.
The Latino Marlins?
But that's because the Marlins choose to be that way.
Yeah.
The Marlins choose to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
They get revenue sharing. They're in the top 1% of teams that get, the Marlins get $75 million in revenue sharing every year. They choose to be that way. But that's on the rest of the owners, TD. I'm sorry. That's on you as an owner. If you choose to be cheap and not help your team benefit and be better in the long run, that is on you as an owner. I'm not feeling bad for you. That's because Jerry Reinsdorf is cheap. That's on you as an owner.
Yeah, that was his mindset. That was his mindset.
Yes. Latino Marlins is crazy.
This comment here by Shrek is true though.
Oh shit.
I truly believe this as well, Shrek. I agree with you. Had he not used, I think he would have been one of those guys, just begging to get a 1-year deal just to stay in the league. If not, probably would have been given a minor league deal, like you said.
Then you know what? That don't mean we got to respect it and validate it.
And we know that's a fact too, because look at how we think there are certain guys in the league who should be getting major league deals who just aren't receiving that.
So hold up, TD. So you not willing to admit the fact that if these owners, this is not a monopoly. They can choose to spend money if they choose to. Look at the amount of money that's in the sport, man. $12.1 billion don't come from nowhere. You can choose to spend the money. Listen, the Kansas City Royals locked up their best player. They spent money. The Blue Jays just locked up Vlad. They spent money. The Arizona Diamondbacks, they signed Corbin Burns and locked up two of their dudes. The Diamondbacks spent money all winter. Right. It's just about whether or not you choose to spend money.
Yeah,
that's it.
The Tigers surprised me a little bit, man, because I remember once upon a time when they weren't afraid to give out deals, right? You remember the days when they had Miggy, Justin Verlander, and they gave so many good contracts out. I think they had given one to like Victor Martinez as well when he was up there in age. I wonder why. Now, I'm not saying they should be spending money the same exact way, but they certainly don't spend money anywhere near that level anymore at all. Yep.
I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. But that's why those very same players that will do whatever for a payday, you better enjoy that payday because you ain't getting another one. And if that's the length you choosing to go, then you just a bitch ass for doing it like that. And I have the right to call you a bitch ass. Just like you have the right to tell me what you think I'm doing is wrong. You have a right to be, you a bitch ass for doing that. You have a huge problem now with local deals. You have ESPN Tampa, 3 years left on the deal. And
we've talked about this.
Yeah,
well, you're gonna lose fans off the simple fact that you have games on all these different platforms.
Exactly.
Not everybody's gonna be willing to
pay for Apple TV.
Exactly.
For Amazon Prime. For all these different apps you gotta use.
These things are not free.
Baseball didn't give a fuck about ESPN, and ESPN didn't give a fuck about baseball.
Mm-hmm.
So it's mutually exclusive. They could give two fucks about each other. So the ESPN argument to me is useless. Right? At the end of the day, the sport is struggling because one, you're not willing to market yourself better as a sport to put your best players in marquee positions. For example, I'm sorry, bro, but this is the bad thing about having baseball played at this time of year. Why are we playing baseball in 35-degree weather, bro? The season needs to be shortened up. You have to. And I love baseball, but this shit is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's bad.
Stadiums 3/4 empty. People freezing. Like, why are we doing this? And these players don't want to be out there. Players are like, damn, bro, it's cold in the morning out there. I could barely feel my toes. I could be out here for 3 hours. Nah, bro.
Mm-hmm.
What?
See, TD, this is a great point because that's why, and I'm not saying this because I'm a host on the show or anything like that. Even if I was like you, TD, just a fan of the show, right? We're talking about a lot of these things before the mainstream media is talking about it, right?
Right.
Like Stephen was talking about a lockout damn near a year ago. Now you got all these other outlets talking about, oh man, Tony Clark said this, Rob Manfred said that. And it's like, oh, so y'all only start to talk about things when the league starts to openly talk about it themselves, not where you actually already see it going because everything is just right there in front of our faces already.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's all relative, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess everything is all relative. But the crazy part is, again, I think this ties together in a way. Profar taking the steroids is the reason why he got paid. But me being a fan of the game, I have every right to kill Jefferson Profar as a fan. You're bad for the game. And people like you are bad for the game. You're bad for the game. Who is Casey playing right now, by the way?
Oh, they're
They're
playing the
playing.
Twins.
They're playing. Yo, the
Mhm.
Twins are god awful.
Yeah.
Twins are awful.
TD says Rob Manfred is stupid.
Well, we've been down this road before. Rob Manfred's the biggest dope out of all of them. But Rob Manfred's also done some things that is good for the game. Like, I didn't think I would like the pitch clock at first. I like it now.
Right. Yo, how about did you see the Mets fans when they were facing the Blue Jays and the crowd was doing the countdown late in the game? They were like 5, 4, like you messing with a pitcher at that point, man. You are for sure. If a pitcher says no, you are lying. Because one, you already have the pitch clock going against you, right?
Right.
Now you have
The fans
20,000, 30,000 plus
Mm-hmm.
people saying it out loud. It's like, all right, now, like, come on.
Yeah. Also, I think, but I also think if you love the game, no matter what part of the country you're from, you'll watch. If you're a baseball fan, you will watch no matter what part of the country you're in. We just spent the first 20 minutes of the show talking about the Seattle Mariners, right? So just because we're both from New York and you're from Boston, that doesn't mean that we're excluding the rest of the markets that are in the sport. The sport is suffering for a multitude of reasons, not just wow, Braves won their second game of the year. Holy shit.
They need that, man, in a big way because they've
Beat
been
the
off to
Phillies.
a rough start. I mean, listen, you're playing against a Philly team that just came out of a series against the Dodgers, and they were giving the Dodgers their all. So, I mean, not to take any credit away from the Braves, but let's really remember who the Phillies just finished playing. Like, it was the Dodgers.
Now with the pitch clock, you don't. With the pitch clock, games are shorter now. I mean, pre-pitch clock, you had to go on 4 or 5 hours. Now you don't.
Yeah.
Now if a game goes to 3 hours, that's your shock.
That's the whole purpose of the pitch clock, is to avoid games from being 4 to 5 hours long.
Honestly, if it was up to me, man, I'd shorten the season down to 120 games and start this shit on Flag Day.
Right. Or like you said, no games in April, start in May, and then bring it down to like 130.
And we starting at the end of May because I'm trying to get through this April showers, bring me flowers, and no. You ain't raining me out.
It's more than showers because we spoke about snow earlier tonight.
No.
You know, we talked about freezing temperatures. We spoke about everything.
All that shit, yeah. Giants looking scary. We talked about them earlier. Giants looking scary, yeah. You know what I like about the Giants, though? I'm not gonna front. Well, that's because you scored a billion runs in that game. The first game at Fenway was 8-5. You scored a shit ton of runs. The game's gonna be longer when you score runs. That ain't going nowhere either. That ain't going nowhere. The analytical movement in baseball, that ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, and it's not just a baseball thing. We're seeing it in all sports, right? Like that's in fact, I would only say that I don't even think sports have even scratched the surface when it comes to really like taking a deep dive into the numbers and allowing the numbers to control you know how you actually maneuver and how you go about playing the game.
Hold on. Josh Young is now a home run away from the cycle after a 2-out game tying triple.
Wow. I think we had anybody hit this. I think we had one guy, right? Has anybody hit the cycle yet this year? Chat, help us out. I want to say yes. I don't remember the guy's name, but I could also be wrong. But if I'm not mistaken, I believe one guy has already done it. If not, then listen, it would be nice if
this year. Carson Kelly. Yes,
I had a feeling.
He did it in Vegas. Yes. And he looked like he was dying, legging out that triple because he can't run because he's a catcher.
I knew I wasn't crazy, bro. I know it just wasn't a name that, you know, is easily to remember.
Yeah, man, Carson Kelly was on his last legs, my boy, legging out that triple. I wanted to go through the screen and hand him my inhaler. Yo, you need help? You need help, bro? Oh, man.
Shrek's TD says analytics have ruined baseball. Yeah, especially if you're like a diehard, I think most people would agree. But I also think that there are certain benefits to it, right? Maybe not as many as you would like, but there has to be some positives. But there's probably more cons than pros. All
For
right,
sure.
so we're gonna hang out for a little more. As you guys know, we can't go the full 2 hours for editing purposes, but we're still gonna be able to hang out for like another 10 minutes or so. So,
Mhm.
one last reminder for those of you who are here hanging out with us, make sure you go ahead and follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at 27 ounce 3C. And for those of you who are watching live right now via YouTube, if you haven't hit that thumbs up button, make sure you do that right now as we speak and hit the subscribe button as well.
Oh, real quick, it is an interesting one. Did you hear about this quirky thing that happened during the Guardians White Sox game today? You know how the game ended?
Mm-mm.
0-0 in the ninth inning, walk-off walk, Guardians win.
Wow, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I would be so tight. I would be upset to lose like that, man.
Sick.
Like I'd rather you hit a walk-off home run. I'd rather you hit a walk-off grand slam than to
Mm-hmm.
lose like that, honestly.
A walk-off walk, and you lose 1-0 on a walk-off walk, my
That's what I'm
nigga?
saying. I'd rather you go yard and it land at like 500 feet than to lose the way that they did. That's tough, man.
I'd have been, I'd have been in the dugout on the bench, like, yo, if y'all mother come in here tomorrow and I
Mm-hmm. Because
somebody got
if you really think about it from the player's
punched in
perspective,
the face, yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised
This
if
is
guys are
funny.
asking like, "Yo, you
This is
couldn't
funny.
just throw a strike? You couldn't
This
put the ball over the plate?" Because we're
this
talking about pros,
this is
guys who are
funny.
playing at the big league level.
This is funny. This is funny.
Hmm.
This is funny.
See, that's what I'm saying, Chad. Chad said, "Put that in the embarrassing
Embarrassing
category."
category. Put
That's
the
my
Benny
point.
Hill music on, bro.
Like, dude, that's a loss where
That's
you know
some
you might
certain
even
shit.
have a rough time going to bed thinking like, damn, I can't believe we lost like that. Like I thought this is something that happens like at little league, high school, maybe, but
Walk is
not at the
nuts.
big league level though. Come on
A
now.
walk-off walk is different kinds of types of disrespectful. Now this.
Mhm.
The Marlins won a game like that against who they beat? Pittsburgh. Their last walk-off was a pass ball, and it got scored from third, and they walked it off
That was their first series of the season, right?
against Pittsburgh.
I
Yeah,
think it was three straight walk-offs, was it
three
right?
three straight walk, 3 out of 4 games. All three wins were walk-offs
That's crazy.
for the Marlins.
Insane, bro.
Yo, that's crazy. Pass balls, walk heartbreaking at the same time. I'd have been sick. You heard?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you this right now. You know who one of my favorite players in the game to watch right now? You see this guy Willie Abreu in Boston?
Mm-hmm.
He is killing shit right now. He had to walk off on Sunday, and then he throws a rocket on Sunday Night Baseball, 110 miles an hour, guns a guy out. I think at third, that throw was beautiful, bro. I was like, oh. Yeah.
Yo, Red Sox, man. I know when I first stated it, it kind of seemed like one of those things where I wasn't all that confident because I like what they did in the offseason, but I think the Red Sox are gonna make the playoffs this year.
I do too. Oh, this ain't nothing new. I'm used to this. This ain't nothing new. I've been a Knicks fan for way too long for me to even get emotional.
The Knicks.
I'm used to this.
I don't know, man. I'm not. I told you, Stephen. I'm not as excited as I was last season.
I've been saying this. I'm leaving this like this because
they really had me like on the edge of my seat last year. But in a good way.
If I start talking about the Knicks, I'm gonna get really upset. So we're just gonna leave this like this. I kind of want the season to end earlier than later. Like, it would not surprise me. I would not be upset if we were eliminated in the first round, because I don't want to go through the roller coaster ride of winning a round and having to play through the scenarios in your head and
to lose in the second round for a third year in a row. It's not even worth it.
I'd rather just them get eliminated early, just go home, get a couple pieces in here. Preferably, I'd like Devin Booker to be a Knick, if that's possible, if that's at all possible. I will trade you Mikal Bridges and Karl Anthony Towns really quickly. You can have them. You can have them really quickly. We can make it work. And listen, I love OG Anunoby, but I'll trade him too if it means I'm getting Devin Booker in here tomorrow.
I don't want to rain on your parade, but
you're not raining on my parade.
My gut just tells me that I don't think the Knicks figure it out with this core. You might say otherwise because you're a diehard fan.
No. I agree with you. That's why I'm trying to get them to trade half the core to get a new core in here.
And that's the unfortunate part because, last season it seemed like they were headed towards that direction, right? And you would even say this yourself. They're worse now than they were last season.
Yeah.
And I remember the moment last season, bro, because you know me, I don't watch the full season. Yep. But there was a point last season where I remember reading something and I was like, hold on, the Knicks are doing what? I got to start watching, like, when's the next game? Right. And I started watching from that point on, bro. No lie, until they got eliminated in the second round. So I did not get that feeling at all, not once this season.
So here's the thing I'll say, and I'm just leaving this alone. The NBA is in a very crazy place. You heard what the Denver Nuggets did today?
They fired their head coach, right?
And the general manager.
Why do that now when the playoffs are around the corner? Just do it in April. April, sorry. But why not just do it at when you get bounced?
Nah, it was a real riff. Like there was like some real like crazy shit happening.
So what's gonna change now? Because nothing's really gonna matter now. That's why I say that.
I mean, well,
we got the cat here too. What's that cat's name?
This is Jon Snow.
Jon Snow. All right, we got 27 outs live. About myself, Stephen, and Jon Snow tonight.
That's my boy. Yo, the other day
you got a second mic over there, bro. You might have to plug it in.
Yeah. Oh man. I like this comment by TD. Hold on. What he said? There's a better chance Ivan gets lucky in Queens tonight. The Knicks going. And listen. I'm not gonna take your Celtic fan bullshit. Respectfully. I'm not taking your Celtic fan bullshit. I need you to take your Celtic fan high horse attitude and just go over there. Although I will say this, and this is going to make you happy, TD. I have the Boston Celtics winning back-to-back championships. I don't think there's nobody in the league that beats Boston. I don't care if you bring Oklahoma City, Cleveland. You're a regular season team to me till you do it otherwise. OKC is just too young. They're going back-to-back.
Damn, yo, Shrek, why you say that, bro? It's only been a couple of minutes. We're not gonna stay on this.
You
don't like basketball at all, or are you like, well, what's your deal with basketball?
The Joker had GM with the issues with the GM, huh?
Oh, okay. So they chose their guy over.
Ooh, I like this little baseball tidbit right here. Okay. I like that. He's repping for his guy. I like that a lot. In fact, I might have to bookmark this occasion. He out here talking spicy. I see you out here, bro.
Yeah, we might have to revisit that.
I like that.
Especially if he can keep it up.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Now I'm cool. I like that a lot. He talking with his chest too.
We needed something like that. Was it last week? Was it our last show, or maybe the one before that, where we were talking about like outlandish takes and whatnot? That would have been a good one, Shrek. You could have mentioned that.
I like that. That's not bad. Here's one thing I will tell you. Yo, has anybody seen Spencer Torkelson hit this year?
From the A's, right?
No, Spencer Torkelson's in Detroit.
Oh, sorry, my mistake. I'm thinking of some guy in the A's right now.
Go look at his numbers. Spencer Torkelson is killing in Detroit right now.
Mm-hmm.
What? 27 out of 4 quarters. That's wild. That's wild. That's wild.
Well, I say outlandish because, I mean, for a guy like you, you're a Royals fan, right? So you would think of something like that. But 9 out of 10 people are not really thinking like he's going to be in the conversation. No disrespect, but you know where I come from with that, Shrek.
I got you. Nah.
Yeah.
Yo, TD. You wild, bro. You wild.
You repping the Celtic? You wearing that Celtic green?
Nah, this is more like a mint green. I would never.
Yeah, it looks like a mint green for sure.
I'd rather puke on myself before I wear Celtic green. You crazy, bro?
Yeah, Shrek. I looked it up as soon as you said it. It's really good. It's a great start.
He's pitching his ass off. Yeah.
I just hope that he could keep it up for you guys, because then that just means that the division is yours, right?
For sure. All of the Tigers gonna have something to say about that.
Right.
Rick Skubal look filthy today.
Yeah, and they got some guys who I think are gonna be right there with him. You know, that I think outside of Skubal, I think they have some guys who are gonna be there to help him.
Listen,
you know?
I want to see what you get from Casey Mize.
Right?
Jackson Jobe. And don't sleep on a guy. Listen, even Montero. I like that Tiger team, man.
Yeah, you know, speaking of Jobe, I saw this video, I think maybe like a week or two ago, and I think it was an at bat for Vladdy Jr. during spring training, and it was Jackson Jobe on the mound. You know, he threw 3 straight heaters for strikes. I mean, right down the plate, and he said, "Vladdy, show me what you got."
Oh shit,
bro! I saw that video, and I said, "Man, I want to see more of that. I want to."
Jackson Jobe he's that
like
dude.
As a pitcher, if you truly believe in yourself, like, yo, just 3 heaters, just give it. Come on, like, I want to see. I want to see what you got. I want to see what the hitter who's in the box got. Like, let's make it happen.
You know how upset I was when I found out Paul Skeens wasn't pitching against the Yankees this weekend. I was tight, bro. I was like, Skeens and Judge would have been.
That would have been good. That would have been good.
Fuck. That's how you get people excited for the game. Anyway, we ain't gotta go home, but if you guys will
yeah, we gotta wrap up.
If you guys have one more final take, Shrek loves the Royals. We accept new fans. Boston, forget these 2 New Yorkers. We're better. Shades in Boston than New York. Come on.
What are you recruiting now? Is that what y'all are doing? Since you guys are about to be really good for a few years?
Listen. First of all right, I'm not gonna let you just come on this channel and spread your Boston propaganda all over my New York accent and these airways. All right, we let you live. I'm cool. We let you live, but don't be coming in here because your little chest is puffed out. You know what I mean?
All right, so we definitely got to wrap up, guys. Really quickly, before we go, shout out, for you guys being here tonight, watching yet another 27 Outs live and enjoying our takes on the many different things we talked about.
Damn.
Also, shout out to the people who like the shorts. We're gonna have those hot and ready as early as tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Between tomorrow leading up to our next live, which at some point should be later this week. Yep. We're definitely going to give you guys 2 shows this week, and I will not be coughing because, as I mentioned, I was going to be coughing a few times tonight. It wasn't so bad, but hopefully it should be gone by the time we are live again. Thanks again, Stefan. Whatever you got to say, we got to go.
All right, we ain't got to go home, but we got to get the hell up out of here. So peace, y'all.